just falling back to his Marines. This is actually a very brilliant play from Leta. He's using those Marines as a buffer. If the Zerg should try to counterattack those Wraiths, he's going to have a lot of Marine fire to deal with. And those Marines can stem and just completely annihilate the mutalisks. And the Zerg knows this. He has an awful lot of mutalisks here, though. So the Zerg, he might still be fine here if he can just get down a couple more Sunkens just to keep those Medic and Marines from moving into this base. He has his Hydralisk Den now, so he could be going for Lurkers to deal with those Medic and Marines. But either way, it's going to be very tough for the Zerg to defend this. He's just going to have to micro very well and just keep those troops from pushing into his main and past his natural here. He is building more Sunkens, so those are going to help fend off against the Medic Marines. But man, this is a very large force from Leta. Leta has gotten a huge force here. And uh-oh, the Zerg, he's flying his mutalisks around here for whatever reason. He could be trying to go in for pincer attack here, I think. Scouting with that Scourge. But he is falling back. I think this is the best thing for him to do. Just fall back, hover around the Sunkens, because Leta's not going to be able to get in range of anything that he can damage here, really, with those Sunkens there. So I think the Zerg is okay as long as he can keep Leta distracted, keep his attention away from that 10 o'clock, that's for sure. If Leta decides to go for the 10 o'clock, it could be over for the Zerg. Leta finally expanding here. Finally getting down his expansion. He looks like he's backing off to protect that expansion with his Medic and Marine force. He's coming up here. He sees this expansion now. He knows about the new expansion from the Zerg. And he could be going up with his entire Wraith fleet here to take that out. The Zerg, I think, anticipating this. He's flying around with his mutalisks, trying to maybe intercept the Wraiths that might be coming in to take out that new base up there at the 10 o'clock. But each player just biding their time. Man, that's a lot of mutalisks. All mutalisks here from the Zerg. And I'm just not sure if this is going to be successful. He's going to have to eliminate the Wraith fleet, that's for sure. That's his biggest obstacle right now to taking out those Medic and Marines. The Wraiths are going to be very pesky if he decides to tackle the Medic and Marines. He's coming in now for a harassment here. Oh man, the Wraith's coming in, cloaked Wraiths. He has a couple of Overlords in here, but the Zerg is going to lose those very quickly if he's not too careful. A few Scourge in here to take out raids as well, but oh man, it's a huge force from both sides coming in, and the Zerg is committing to this. He's committing to taking out everything here, but he's going to have to be so careful. He's backing off with his troop here. He has 4 Overlords in here, 3 Overlords. These Overlords being nicely picked off by Leta here, and Leta looking very angry, very, very angry. Leta is a very compassionate player. Well, not compassionate. He throws a lot of emotion into his play here, and you can tell he's just like, yeah, I'm gonna kill you, man. And I believe it. He has a very large force of Medic and Marine out. Oh wow, this is going to be very close, I think, though, since the Zerg has so many mutalisks out. This is just going to come down to a huge battle. And, well, now that Leta has his science vessels out, he's going to be able to irradiate those clumps of mutalisks. So the Zerg is definitely going to have to get out some other type of unit. He had his Hydralisk Den now, but I didn't see any Hydralisks or Lurkers out for the Zerg yet. So the Zerg not utilizing that Hydralisk Den right now. And, the Zerg coming in, trying to snipe all of those Wraiths, but being forced to fly away again, falling back to the... Oh, the Lurker's finally out for the Zerg. He's going to try to come down here with these Lurkers. But those science vessels are going to be so pesky. All that Leta's going to have to do is just go in, irradiate a Lurker or a group of mutalisks, and he's just going to slowly break down the Zerg's defenses. And he has a lot of troops to fall back to. So the Zerg, it's going to be hard for him to get any kind of damage done here. This is going to be an irradiate war, I think. The Zerg done a pretty good job picking at some Wraiths that are trying to come in and be pesky. And, another irradiate there on a huge clumping of mutalisks there. And the Zerg smartly getting that mutalisk out. But all of those mutalisks are badly damaged here. And those mutalisks are the only thing that the Zerg has for just taking on all the troops. He has some Lurkers here, but not nearly enough Lurkers to take on this massive amount of Medic and Marines here. Unless Leta does something catastrophically stupid like trying to push in to the Sunkens and the Lurkers here. But the Zerg is doing the best he can. He's doing some good micro here, just trying to pick at the forces, keep that push from going into his natural while he's getting up his hive tech. I think that probably is the best course of action. Get out Defilers or perhaps Ultralisk, but I say Defilers are his best shot here, since this is an all, basically an all Marine and Medica Marine force. Another nice Radiate, slowly picking up the forces from the Zerg. This is what I was talking about. All that Leta has to do is irradiate here, and eventually he'll be able to push in. This is definitely not looking good for the Zerg. He's being irradiated out of existence right now, and even more science vessels coming in. None of the science vessels have gone down, so the more science vessels out, the more dead mutalisks clumps. And wow, the Zerg is just grouping all of his troops here at the front, just trying to hold that front at all costs. And Leta still hasn't committed to taking out these new bases from the Zerg at all, but I think the Zerg was a little bit late to expand again. He has his 4th base coming up. He has his Greater Spire and his Ultralisk Cavern coming up right now. So they are going to see Ultralisks and Guardians. I think that'll be very hard for him to tech to that. I don't think he has quite enough troops to defend his front if Leta should try to push in with his Medica Marine force. Leta's still at 2 bases. So the Zerg has that going for him. He has definitely a lot more bases than Leta right now. But Leta has a huge ground army, a very deadly ground army up on the ground right now. And we'll see how Leta manages to fight the Zerg here. If he's going to try to push in with those Marines into the natural, or if he tries somewhat of a drop strategy. Because I don't think he's going to be able to break into the natural. He's going to... Whoa, the nicely timed cloak there. Oh, very nicely timed cloak from Leta, picking at the Mutalisks but not managing to take any down. But that was a clutch cloak. Clutch cloak, that's for sure. More science vessels coming in, just irradiating everything. And a huge grouping of Zerglings there. Leta could potentially just irradiate the middle of those Zerglings and take quite a few out, I think. He has some tanks in here, 1 tank in here. Couple of tanks coming in now for Leta, so he is going to try to break into the natural. He has a huge force to do it, and I think the Zerg is in massive trouble. He has no way of doing a pincer attack right now. He doesn't have any way of getting his troops around to the other side, and this is one of the major problems for Zerg on Outsider. There's just not a lot of maneuverability if you want to get your troops from one expansion to the next. There's a lot of mineral barriers, and the Zerg actually not quite paying attention to his Zerglings there, letting his Zerglings run out. He has some Guardians out now, but not nearly enough. I think he's going to have to run back with those Guardians. All of his Sunkens are being broken here, and the Zerg is in huge trouble. He's fighting off the best he can with these Guardians. The Guardians might be able to swing this for him, but man, just so many Marines non-stop. Supply of Marines coming in right now, so man, there should have been a lot more Lurkers here, I think, to take out these Marines. But Leta he does still have a Medica Marine force here. He is going to be able to take out this hatchery, and I don't think the Zerg is going to win this. I don't think he's going to be able to get out enough Guardians. He has a couple of Ultralisks coming out here, but I think that Ultralisk tech switch might have been a bad idea for him. He might have wanted to commit more to Mutalisks and Guardians. Those Guardians were actually working out pretty well for him. Just didn't quite have enough, I think. And now these Ultralisks are going to be mopped up. Ultralisks will not last too long when they're coming in piecemeal like this, one at a time. So the Zerg in very big trouble here. He has a few Ultralisks left, and that's why he's not GGing at this point, but he lost his natural here. And Leta is expanding again, so Leta is tied up as far as expansions go. And he has so many science vessels here. Man, that's a lot of science vessels. I don't think I've seen one science vessel go down yet, which is pretty bizarre. That the Zerg hasn't pumped Scourge to take care of these science vessels, but I guess he's been devoting all of his gas to Ultralisk tech here, Ultralisk and Guardians, devoting all of his gas to that. The eraser trick from Leta, getting rid of all those drones, but man, the Zerg, GG's. Knowing it was over there, and Leta doing a good job coming back here with a very interesting strategy there. Wraith, Medica Marine, Science Vessel, Tank, the everything build coming back today. But yeah, nicely played by Leta. We'll see if he manages to move back into the round of 16 in the next game, moving on to set 3.